moment DMX opened his mouth, people laughed. They mocked him. They called him paranoid, unstable, and desperate for attention. But what if the loudest voice in the room was actually the only one telling the truth? What if the warnings everyone ignored were never just angry rants, but desperate attempts to expose a system that powerful people wanted buried forever? Because years after DMX made those explosive claims, the music industry is drowning in scandal after scandal, and suddenly people are asking the question nobody wanted to ask back then. Did DMX see something the rest of the world refused to believe? Was he trying to expose an invisible network operating behind billion-dollar record labels while everyone else was distracted by the music? That is exactly where this story begins, and the deeper you look, the stranger everything becomes.
You got issues with the industry. What's going down with the industry, dog?
The industry is full of a bunch of sucking, riding, bending over the desk, nigga, straight up like.
I opened myself up to the possibility that I could have a relationship with a man.
And he said, man, I'm here because Clive Davis called me, and him and Puppy's real tight, and,
I've been hearing stories since 1990-something. I don't talk about it. My personal opinion is, if you talk about it too much, something bad will happen to you.
Back when DMX first started speaking about powerful executives controlling hip-hop behind closed doors, hardly anyone took him seriously. Instead of investigating what he meant, critics dismissed him as another controversial rapper, making outrageous accusations. But years later, after countless scandals involving major figures in the entertainment industry exploded into public view, those old interviews suddenly began resurfacing. People weren't laughing anymore. They were replaying every word, searching for clues they had ignored for decades. Was DMX exposing a hidden culture that had been operating in plain sight all along? Or was he simply another artist frustrated by an industry that rewarded silence more than honesty? According to DMX, success in the music business wasn't always about talent. He hinted that certain executives allegedly demanded complete obedience from artists before opening the doors to fame. His claims weren't presented as ordinary business politics. He described an atmosphere where power, intimidation, and personal compromise allegedly determined who rose to the top and who disappeared without explanation. The more he spoke, the angrier he became, as though these weren't stories he had heard from others but experiences that had left permanent scars. He insisted he refused to compromise himself, and according to his version of events. That decision came with enormous consequences. Suddenly, what looked like career struggles started appearing to some fans as the price of refusing to play by unwritten rules.
You got issues with the industry. What's going down with the industry, dog?
The industry is full of a bunch of sucking, riding, bending over the desk, nigga, straight up like that. Whoever don't like it, bring it. Bring it. I don't give a bring it. Bring it. They got this new breed of rapper that's paying DJs to play their shit.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? They sucking the record label executives, and it's like there's too much of that going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me be me. Let me be the artist that I am and just play my music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now they want you all up under this, you know, sitting at the going to dinner with them and like that. These f***ers had the nerve to tell me one time. I said, yo, why I can't have two videos playing at the same time? Oh, because we don't want your videos to compete with each other. But then I told fucking TV, I ain't gonna say the artist names, but they got 3 videos back to back.
Exactly.
I'm like, you feeding me shit, and you sucking these so crazy, man. Wrong with that, yo. I had to put up there, man. After that, I was like, I'm not going to the office no more.
As those old interviews spread across social media once again, countless viewers immediately connected DMX's statements to Sean Diddy Combs because of the allegations surrounding him. But others argued the story stretched far beyond a single individual. They claimed the real question wasn't who stood in front of the cameras, but who stood behind them. Every empire has financiers, every superstar has gatekeepers, and every powerful executive leaves fingerprints somewhere along the road to success. That line of thinking inevitably brought one name back into the spotlight: Clive Davis. For decades, Clive Davis has been celebrated as one of the greatest music executives in history, discovering and mentoring countless legendary artists. Yet alongside that respected reputation, rumors and conspiracy theories have followed him for years. Critics began asking whether some of the industry's darkest allegations somehow pointed back toward the same influential circle of executives that DMX appeared to be describing. None of these accusations accusations have ever been proven in court, and many remain nothing more than speculation repeated across interviews, podcasts, and internet discussions. Even so, the timing of these resurfaced conversations has fueled intense debate among fans convinced that too many pieces seem to fit together. One of the loudest voices pushing those theories has been Jaguar Wright, who has repeatedly claimed that the industry's biggest names learned manipulation from powerful mentors operating behind the scenes. According to her allegations, influence wasn't simply inherited through business relationships, but through an entire culture built on secrecy, loyalty, and silence. She suggested that those who mastered the system eventually repeated the same behavior with younger artists entering the business, whether people believe her or not. Her interviews have dramatically reignited conversations that many assumed had disappeared years ago.
He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loved to control.
The story becomes even more controversial when discussions shift toward the relationship between Harrell and Diddy. After Harrell dismissed Diddy from Uptown Records, many believed his career had reached a dead end. Yet astonishingly, only weeks later, Bad Boy Records emerged with incredible financial backing and rapidly transformed into one of hip-hop's most powerful labels. That sudden rise sparked endless speculation. How did such enormous resources appear so quickly? Who believed in Diddy strongly enough to finance such an ambitious project? Those questions have fueled rumors for decades, even though no credible evidence has publicly confirmed the most sensational claims surrounding that period. Still, conspiracy theorists insist the answers remain hidden somewhere behind closed executive offices, and they argue that DMX's warnings become even harder to ignore when viewed through that lens.
Davis is over Arista, which is over Diddy's Bad Boy Records. Now, rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994, and that's how Bad Boy Records came about. So that would make Clive Davis Diddy's mentor, right? And what they share in common is that both of their artists mysteriously end up unalived. Now, the rumor about Diddy getting on his knees for Clive in order to get Bad Boy would just be a rumor had Clive not come out the closet a few years ago. In 2013, Clive Davis released a memoir called The Soundtrack of My Life. In that memoir, an 80-year-old Clive Davis, at the time, this was in 2013, he admitted to being bisexual.
The controversy only intensified from there because the conversation stopped being about music and started becoming about mysterious deaths, whispered accusations, and powerful people who allegedly always seem to escape accountability. One name frequently brought into those discussions is singer Phyllis Hyman. Various online articles and internet commentators have speculated that she possessed damaging information about influential executives before her tragic death. Those claims remain completely unverified, and there is no public evidence proving she was targeted because of anything she allegedly knew. Even so, conspiracy communities continue treating her story as another missing piece in a puzzle they believe stretches across decades. For those already convinced that powerful figures protected one another behind the scenes, every unexplained tragedy becomes another reason to believe something bigger has always been hiding in plain sight.
1995 meeting in Beverly Hills in the home of Clive Davis, who was responsible for the of Whitney Houston. I said it. And there were rappers there from all over the country. They were invited to the home of Clive Davis, along with members of the CIA, FBI, which they didn't understand why the government was there, including many directors and CEOs of the private prisons throughout the United States was at that meeting in the mansion of Clive Davis. And they were telling these rappers, you need to create songs talking about police, calling black women bees, and you need to get more nasty so we can fill our prisons.
Then the conversation takes an even stranger turn. Suddenly, people aren't simply talking about record executives anymore. They begin discussing rumors of intelligence connections, elite influence, and an invisible network allegedly capable of shaping careers, controlling narratives, and deciding who becomes a superstar. None of these allegations have ever been substantiated by credible evidence. Yet they continue circulating through documentaries, interviews, podcasts, and online forums. The mystery itself keeps the speculation alive. Every unanswered question becomes fuel for another theory. Every coincidence becomes another clue. Every silence becomes suspicious. Eventually, the phrase gay mafia enters the discussion. One of the most controversial expressions ever associated with the entertainment industry. Supporters of the theory describe it as an alleged network of influential people protecting one another and controlling opportunities behind closed doors. Critics strongly reject the term, arguing it promotes harmful stereotypes and unfairly targets LGBTQ+ people without evidence. Regardless of where someone stands, the phrase has repeatedly surfaced over the years because several public figures have referenced it while describing what they believed were powerful entertainment circles operating behind the scenes. Those comments remain their opinions and allegations, not established facts. Former Hollywood executive Michael Ovitz publicly claimed years ago that powerful insiders contributed to his professional downfall. Comedian Adam Carolla also discussed what he described as a powerful entertainment culture that discouraged criticism. Even television personality Bill Maher joked that crossing certain influential groups could end careers overnight. None of these remarks independently prove the existence of any organized network, but together they have kept the discussion alive among audiences who already suspect the entertainment industry hides far more than it reveals.
It's owned. The hip-hop community is most likely owned by gay, to be honest with you.
You think they'll be...
They're owned by gay. I happen to think there's a gay mafia in hip-hop.
Right.
Not rappers. You know, the editorial presidents of magazines,
sure.
the PDs at radio stations, the people who give you award at award shows. This is a gay mafia, my man.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They are in power.
The hip-hop community has contributed even more fuel to the fire. Fat Joe openly acknowledged hearing about these rumors during his own career, while Too Short admitted he preferred not to speak extensively because of potential backlash. Their comments didn't confirm conspiracy theories, but they demonstrated something equally fascinating. Even veteran artists appeared cautious whenever these topics surfaced. That hesitation alone has convinced many fans that there are conversations taking place behind closed doors that never reach public microphones.
In the industry, I've been hearing stories since 1990-something. I don't talk about that shit. My personal opinion is, if you talk about it too much, something bad gonna happen to you. Because there's something in the air, man. It's like I'm a conspiracy.
So you think there's a gay mafia?
I think if you talk about it, something's gonna happen.
Then another former industry insider expanded the conversation even further by describing what he believed were initiation rituals and psychological manipulation inside the business. These claims are extraordinary, remain entirely unverified, and have never been established as fact. Nevertheless, they continue spreading online because they fit into a larger narrative promoted by people who believe fame often comes with hidden costs invisible to ordinary fans. Whether those stories reflect reality, exaggeration, personal belief, or misunderstanding remains impossible to determine from publicly available evidence. But once those ideas enter public discussion, they become almost impossible to erase. That may explain why DMX continues attracting attention years after his passing. People no longer revisit his interviews simply because he was a legendary rapper. They return because his warnings sound different in a world transformed by scandals involving influential entertainment figures. Every resurfaced interview invites new interpretations. Every old clip generates millions of fresh views. Every statement is examined like evidence from a mystery that still hasn't reached its conclusion. But perhaps that's exactly why this story refuses to disappear. It isn't because every allegation has been proven. Quite the opposite. It survives because so many questions remain unanswered. Fans continue connecting dots. Critics continue demanding evidence. Supporters continue insisting the truth has been hiding in plain sight for decades. Somewhere between documented history, personal testimony, internet rumor, and conspiracy theory sits a mystery that keeps pulling people back for another look. Whether DMX uncovered something genuine, or whether his words have simply taken on new meaning through the lens of today's controversies, is ultimately for every viewer to decide. What cannot be denied is that his warnings continue echoing louder with every new entertainment scandal that dominates the headlines. And perhaps the most unsettling part isn't what he said nearly 20 years ago. It's that people who once mocked those warnings are now replaying them over and over again, wondering if they dismissed the wrong man. Sometimes the loudest secret isn't hidden because nobody knows it. Sometimes it's hidden because nobody wanted to believe it.